Diluc has existed since the beginning of the game, and back then he was considered the best pyro DPS, despite shelling also existing. Look, the meta was very different during 1.0. Most people were still using Crescent Pike on shelling, for God's sakes. However, even though I played since the very beginning of Genshin, I had never gotten a Diluc. That is, until the 5-star selector appeared for 5.0. I know, that was almost 2 patches ago as of recording this video. I really dropped the ball on this. Out of all the 5-star standard characters, the ones I didn't have were Diluc, Tighnari, and Dia. I'm sure you can guess who I picked. By the way, I still don't have Tighnari or Dia. Anyways, with Diluc, there's a specific kind of playstyle you can do with him to get significantly more damage. And it's a tech I've already featured on this channel way too many times to count. Dragonstrike. However, unlike other characters that I've used this tech with, Diluc has the unique property where each of the hits his skill produces generate hit lag, enough to be able to Dragonstrike with. These all have slightly different timing, and so they must all be practiced in order to get the most out of him. Unfortunately, the tree I practiced on wasn't going to do it. This is because Diluc's skill can't hit the tree. In fact, generally any elemental damage isn't able to hit trees for some reason. So I had to resort to a different training dummy. Overall, I had 2 goals with this week-long training. The first was to get the timing down for each of the skill procs. It would be a bit hard compared to past videos since I would have to effectively get used to 3 different timings, but I was confident I could get a sense for it. The second and much more difficult goal was to get proficient at directional dragon striking. You can change the direction the plunge lands by inputting directional strokes when dashing during the dash jump step. Getting both of these down was a bit of a stretch, but hey, I committed to this lifestyle, so it is what it is.
It's a skill issue?
To be frank, I can still improve a great deal, but with the amount of time I could afford to allot, there wasn't much more I could do for now. This was going on my list of things to revisit in the future, as I do want to get better at it. Team comps wise, there were a few options, some better than others. There was a potential vape option with Furina, Jean, and Bennett. Jean needs to be C2 here to allow for movement speed access, but it would definitely be viable. However, I really didn't want to use this team comp since I was going to use most of these characters in the near future for a different video. So I went with the melt options. This has 2 specific variants, being Kazuha/Rosaria, Diona, and Bennett as the teammates. Because I spent a majority of my time making sure I could Dragon Strike properly, I didn't really have time to really test rotations or go over proper timings. So I ended up using Rosaria over Kazuha since I thought the easier cryo application access would shore up my rotation weakness. For artifacts, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that I used 4-piece Crimson Witch on Diluc. It was practically tailor-made for him after all. As for weapons, I decided on Mailed Flower. It gives a decent amount of EM and attack, both of which were relevant stats for a Melt Diluc. Both Scrapestone and Red Horn are also both decent options, though Red Horn's passive isn't useful here given the lack of normal attacks overall with this playstyle. An interesting option that could have been useful is the Unforged if I had it, or, as I like to call it, a glorified popsicle. The reason for this is to strengthen Diona's shield, as without her shield active, I wouldn't have the movement speed necessary to Dragonstrike. As for which side I was going to use Diluc on, I originally wanted to use him on the second half the full way. However, there were some issues with this, primarily due to getting hitbox blocked, or what I like to call getting roofed. Both of the bosses on the second half have really annoying hitboxes to fight around, and while I did get enough practice in on the second chamber to at least do Dragonstrike semi-decently, I can't say the same on the third chamber. As a result, I do end up pivoting Diluc to the first half for Chamber 3 specifically and drop Dragonstrike since Diona wasn't really doing me any favors with permanently pyro-afflicted enemies. I know it's lame, but it is what it is. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this gameplay.
审判，我来保护大家。他飞的下场，制裁。可不好气。
火焰烧尽。
该走攻击了。晚安了。反省吧，酒鬼，抓到你了。 有大家在身边，制裁。他飞的下场，攻手剑。
在此宣判。
收起来吧，审判。好，我来保护大家。哼，别想跑，站立吧。迪奥娜特强。
火焰烧尽。
我来保护大家。反省吧，站立吧。我可不好气。
审判。
收起来吧，审判。有大家在身边，伤口就不会。迪奥娜特强。晚安了。攻守兼备。
在此宣判。
收起来吧。该走攻击了，站立吧。反省吧，酒鬼。抓到你了。
火焰烧尽。
有大家在身边，晚安了。他飞的下场，我可不好气。
审判。
别想跑，该走攻击了，收起来吧，站立吧。迪奥娜特强，抓到你了。羽线难画，之师成景。晚安了。
火焰烧尽。
有大家在身边，伤口就不会。别想跑。审判，制裁。 是密材。该有攻击了。
大之王，祭品已经准备好啊！审判，
我来保护大家，站立吧！知识成景，断，预线难画。
火焰，烧尽。
束手就擒。
These runs were definitely not as good as I had wanted, especially considering how badly I ruined the melt timing overall. I did get Dragon Striking down somewhat decently, but there is still room for improvement. It'll be interesting in the future for me to revisit characters I have built previously for a month and highlight things I've learned since. Let me know in the comment section down below if you would like to see that. Speaking of things you might like watching, if you want to see way more optimized Diluc gameplay than I showed here, I highly recommend giving Cavern Man a watch. They are a very well-versed Diluc main, so check them out. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time.
Here we go again.